where we have our speaker from umdasch, which is one of the leading shop fitting concerns in Europe, with a staff of about 1,400. The corporate headquarters is in Austria, with some 20 branch locations in Europe and the Middle East. Umdasch and its 4 operative divisions, lifestyle retail, food retail, premium retail, and digital retail, manage over 7,000 shop fitting projects and 100 general contracting projects every year. Ladies and gentlemen, to present to us right now, please welcome on the stage the CEO, umdasch, Mr. Silvio Kirchmair.
Thank you very much. Yeah, thanks a lot. The name is not that easy, I know. So let's do it with Silvio, it's much easier. Thank you very much for being invited here. Now coming back from something very visionary, which is unfortunately not that visionary because it's important for all of our life. I would like to give you, in about 25 minutes, something which I don't know. So because I don't know where the trends in future would head us to. Before, I would like just to introduce our company. Yes, of course, we do have a history. We do have a history in shop fitting since 1868, so we are 151 years around. That means we have seen a lot of crises and we have seen a lot of opportunities. This time is again something which is mixed between crisis and opportunities. So about us, we do have a mission which we gave ourselves in 2014, and the mission says all about is successful stores. We are a store maker. And the only reason for us to live and to exist is that we contribute to successes for our customers. So of course we have a heritage of craftsmanship. We began as a carpenter, and this was a big carpenter at the beginning. And today it's more a project management organization, which is part of a family-owned group. There is a family umdasch, which is 4th generation, and as I said, they started the business some 150 years back. We do have a sister company, which is here also very active in India, which is Doka. That's a formwork technology company, being #1 in the world. We do have a unit which is called umdasch Group Ventures, meaning we invest venture capital into some disrupting technologies, and we do have a store maker, which is the store making unit. It was already mentioned, we operate in divisions. A division is a company in the company, and these divisions are dedicated to markets. There's one division dedicated to the grocery stores market, which is the food retail division. There's one other, we call it lifestyle division, doing all the businesses you might find in high streets, so from car dealers, banks, fast food restaurants, of course, fashion. We have one unit being located in the UK, which covers the luxury market, the brands. You can see Harrods here, which we have the honor to refurbish and to do. And we have one division, which is the youngest and still the smallest one, which we call digital retail, where we do everything what is necessary in terms of digitalization of retail that starts from electronic price tags, digital signage, and things like that. So we are a European-based company, and now I'm talking basically about a store maker. So all our units are between Ireland and Moscow, and in the north, in northern of Germany and down to Dubai. So we are not represented here in India. Basically, as I said, it's 85% of our turnover is done in mainland Europe. What are we doing? We try to cover everything which is necessary to deliver successful stores, meaning we do concepts, we do for sure the production, we do the project management, in some cases also general contracting. We try to digitalize, no problem. And finally, we offer our customers also via our shop academy some training sessions and courses. So this should have been just the figures around. This is our group. Let me analyze, because I do not want to talk that much about some technical trends in store and shop fitting. Let's talk about the analysis of the situation for our brick and mortar customers, brick and mortar retailers. There's one thing that has changed the world within the last 10 years. This is the smartphone, basically. And here you can see the sales figures. We can see that the trend in the sales trend has more or less stabilized. Last year there were around about 1.55 billion smartphones being sold around the world. By the way, the whole world bought more smartphones than toothbrushes, which is an interesting trend. And there's another curve, which you might say is some sort of, I would not say this is really interlinked to each other, but at least in the Western world, because these are OECD figures, the burnout curve goes very parallel to the sales of smartphones. So it's probably coincidence, but it's interesting to at least to realize. So this is a figure from Swisscom. All of us touch this device 85 times a day. So the thing knows more about us than ourselves, knows where we are going, who we are talking to, what we are taking as notes. So the device knows more about us, and this device has for sure changed also the word for retail. So let me just look at this figure. This is a figure from Germany. In the last 17, 18 years, the number of stores in Germany has reduced from 418,000 to 345,000. So this is a decline of 70%. It's not a decline in space, I have to admit, so the space more or less stayed the same, but the number of stores went significantly down. In some areas even faster than that. In fashion retail, basically the number of stores has been halved in the last 20 years or 18 years. Travel agencies minus 22%, or bookstores minus 27%. So this negative trend in terms of at least number of stores has an effect on our society. At least in the Western world, I believe the same here in Asia, in India, is retail finances infrastructure. It's not the industry in that particular case, it's basically retail who finance it. And if retail, brick and mortar retail dies, who is then going to finance the infrastructure? For the retailers, doing more of the same is most probably not the solution. So this is a ship which was built in 1902, and you know, when the steam vessels came up, people thought there may be 7, I don't know the name, so a lot of sales would improve the ship as itself. No, this ship sank in 1907, so 5 years after starting to operate. So more of the same in retail is for sure not the solution. So which options do our customers, do the brick and mortar retailers have? I'm not going to elaborate on this slide in detail, but let's just mention 2 things. We do have a consensus process of purchasing and a consensus process of selling. And the consensus buying process starts with identifying a need, being aware of a need, and ends with everybody analyzes the benefit we might have won by doing a certain purchase. On the other hand, we have a consensus selling process, which starts from winning the attention from our customers, which of course covers creating a demand, and ends with creating customer retention and loyalty. And parallel to that, we have a lot of influencing factors which change, of course, but there's a social influence, there's competitors, there's situational influence and everything. What everything of us know is, and this is the basic conclusion, that company who is able to interlink these 2 processes best and is able to earn sufficient amount of money will win competition. That does not mean necessarily that you have to interlink the whole process. It just means you have to interlink at least some stages of this process. What does that mean for a brick and mortar retailer strategically? What should he or she do to be successful, to win in competition? What we can say today is the barrier between online and offline will disappear. The successful retailers will cover all of these channels. So it's omni-channeling or seamless commerce. And the successful brick and mortar retailer has to cover the online world, as Amazon and the Zalandos in Europe also have to cover the offline world. So this is something what retailers have to do. In brick and mortar business especially, it's necessary to create experiences, to generate interest. Of course, you have a different set of methodologies here. You can use emotions, you can use technology, you can use whatever, but you have to create interest and have to provide unique experiences as a brick and mortar retailer. The third strategic option is to offer personalized offers. And you will see later on some examples on that. One thing is for sure, data is the goal of the future. Whether it's mass data, personalized data, working with the data, in some cases the employees of the brick and mortar retailer has in their head this is vital for the future of a brick and mortar retailer as well as an online one. Because algorithms are basically the basis for specific offers. Fifth option, strategic, would be providing outstanding service quality, which is different or should be different from your neighbors, which should give you a sort of differentiation from your competition. Sixth offer is combining, or the sixth option is combining the retail with services. For example, with dining. Or seventh one, if you are a hardcore cost leader, or you follow the positioning of being the cost and price leader, that could also be a position where you are unbeaten. The online world is more expensive in terms of cost per turnover than, for example, the costs of Primark as an example. So if you are a real cost leader in brick and mortar retail, you will survive because online can't be as cheap, at least not in the retail process. Of course, if the money is generated by selling data, then it looks maybe different. So these are the strategic options. Now let's come to what really happens, come to the tactics, where let's say also what we are doing now comes into the picture. And I will just show you the few options which our customers, and we also have developed with them, provide to be able to compete and to survive. So one is surprise your customers, offer something which is new. The second one is create the range of goods. Third opportunity, create a sort of third place. You know, first place is home, second place is workplace, third place is an area where people would like to stay and utilize time. Sorry. Decelerate your customers is also one option, the second one. Offer additional functions or services, provide personalized experiences, try to multiple use space. In retail, space is only utilized for 40% of the week, at least in some areas, in some countries in the world. Try or offer a sort of hard discount, no frills retail. Invest into excellent staff. There's nothing to say about staff is for sure the premium which is necessary, and combine online and offline. So this is just a list. Now I would like to give you concrete direct examples. First of all, when I say surprise your customers, what does it mean? It means experiment with new assortments. It means try to offer something which is unknown. Inspire your customers. As a direct example from Germany, this is a fashion store, Bräuninger in Stuttgart. And in the fashion store, in the women's fashion department, there's a pop-up store for tools of a company called Würth. And this is one of the most successful units in terms of sales per square meters, because men waiting for their spouses don't know what to do, and then they buy tools. So this is something what inspires, this is something what is unknown, what is specific, it's surprising. So brick and mortar retailer have to surprise the customer with something which is maybe not logic. Second option is pre-selection. I just took the example on washing machines. If I would like to read everything which is in Google available on washing machines, it will take me 66 years. I won't survive it because I'm 57 already. So if I read 12 hours per day. So curate your assortment, try to provide an assortment which is, of course, dedicated to your customers will help. The third option which I mentioned, the third place is, this is an example from Swisscom in Switzerland. Their stores look like homes. Their stores look like rooms where people love to live. And the funny thing is, Swisscom has about 120 stores in Switzerland. These stores are really, even the young kids meet there to prepare for going out. The elderly generation is sitting there and being trained on how to use the iPhone. So the store does not look as a normal store. It looks like more than a flat, than a room where people live. Deceleration is also a methodology to, of course, sell more, bring the people down, especially if the environment is loud. So this is an example from, of course, it's a sports center. It's easier because people are there, in some cases, on vacation. Example in Kaprun in Austria, where if you are there, you are welcomed, you get something to drink. So they're not talking about selling something. First of all, they try to bring you down and to decelerate yourself. Extremely successful in terms of square meter sales. We already have heard, I think it was also with Mrs. Möbius, offer something which is personal. This is Nike store in London, where you on-site can create your shoe. It's done via 3D printing. You can select all the colors, the forms, nearly everything is possible, and you get the shoe within less than an hour. So this is something what you offer. It will lead to a longer stay in the store. It leads to direct more sales. So personalized offer is for sure a very good method to improve the success. I said already, additional functions, meaning combining eating, dining with shopping is for sure a very good way. First of all, it extends the length of stay. Secondly, it generates also some turnover on the space. And it's a very good trend because people would not share, let's say, buying and eating and would not do that via the internet. If you could combine both, it helps and makes you more successful. Or additional function, this is a drugstore which offers, of course, also a haircut. So very good because these are also the products which might be sold in the drugstore. So services offer customers the opportunity to stay longer. Or this is an example from Austria. The grocery store is also a wine shop where you can taste wine, you can stay longer, and it helps to increase the loyalty of your customers for sure. Something which is at least in Europe, in Japan, for example, a very good example, try to utilize the space, which is in some cases the most expensive in retail, try to utilize the space more often. This is not an example from a store because there is none existing right now in the world. This is a store where you have 130 square meters flat on 40 square meters because the rooms move. So, and thinking on that concept in brick and mortar retail will, of course, we believe it will come up and will be successful. Of course, as I said, hardcore discount is very successful, as we can see around the world, because the relative cost is rather low. If you're good in that and you manage to cost on a very low level, you will be successful around the world. That also means you have to reduce the cost on everything. Or, and this is where we invest quite a lot into that, integrate technology. Because at least it gives you people more time to serve your customers. This is a group of stores, household goods, where everything is digitalized, which is possible, meaning electronic price tags. Customers have to take care their towels, have to take the towels and have to check or can check. And then they see on these screens, this is the supplier, it's done by this and that cotton, it's coming from this or there. So, and the probability to buy the towel is 30% higher than not having it in your hand. So having something in hand increases the probability of sales. Or an example from Paris, Vorwerk, a German company, where in that store everything has been digitalized what's possible, meaning all the stories are on screens, all the goods can be tested basically, and of course increasing technology will make the store more unique and will hopefully increase the experience for your customer. Integrated technology but also means act with chat booths, something what we do together. We've invested in that company, offering all our brick and mortar customers also chat booths to bring customers into their store. Or something else what has been done with a logistics company together, where this store is a 1,200 square meters grocery store, but it's 700 square meters a dark store, which is open 24 hours and 7 days a week. And 500 square meters is a store where all the fresh goods, the vegetable, the bread, and all these things are offered to the customer. The first store will be built in this year. At the end, we expect to have it opened in December 2019. So it will be a first store which is either an online store, which serves the online customers out of the dark part, and which also serves the footfall, the customers with all the fresh articles which you need. So, but there's one thing which all of us should never forget. It's all about people, especially in services, and retail is a very important part of service. If your people are good, you will be successful. I experience quite often that a lot of retailers try to save money on their staff. Honestly, I believe this is for sure the wrong development, because this is the most important value creation part in your company. This is your staff. So excellent staff is nothing what a shop fitter can support, but we only can tell our customers that this should never be forgotten. Honestly, we can't foresee the future. I mean, 15 years ago, or let's say 30 years ago, nobody would have thought about the internet. 15 years ago, nobody would have thought about the smartphones. Maybe you have that seen in some future movies, but we can't foresee it was going to happen. Jeff Bezos from Amazon himself said, in 40 years from now, Amazon will not exist anymore. And honestly, I'm quite confident. I'm quite sure that Amazon will not survive the next 40 years. I think that the company will break up, but this is a more personal theory. So we can't foresee what's going to happen in future, but we can prepare ourselves on that. And this is what we try to do every day, and this is what we are dedicated to make our brick and mortar retailers more successful than they were before they have met us. As long as we are able to fulfill that, we will be good in business, and if we fail to do so, we will be out of business. That's quite easy. So thank you very much for listening. I hope that it could make up a few minutes, which I was asked to do so. It was originally planned for 45 minutes, so I did it now, I think, in 20-something. Thank you very much for your audience. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Silvio.
Yeah.
We're going to open the floor to a couple of questions. We can take one or two. So quickly raise your hand. We've got a question up in front. Surendra.
Thank you, Silvio, for a great presentation. My question is that most retailers across the world are getting more and more aware about being conscious about the environment in terms of using materials. Has that some way impacted the way your business?
Yeah, it's packing that gives us, so first of all, that's necessary to do so. We have one product which we call liquid dispenser, which is sold to our grocery stores and also to fast mover consumer goods companies, where the liquid dispenser replaces plastic bottles. So you can, for example, go to a petrol station and use the liquid dispenser. You will get, you know, the liquidity which you need to have your windows unfrozen in the car. And normally you buy it in some 1 liter boxes or 5 liter, 3 liter boxes. So we offer liquid dispenser. You has then just a can. You can use it and you bring it back. So many of our customers, especially in the grocery retail industry, already reflect and ask us, how can we reduce packaging in terms of reusing and even in terms of complete reduction? So there is already a trend, especially in reducing plastics. This is what we feel, and we are going to invest and offer some store products to cover that demand.
Thank you.
We can take one more question. The gentleman in the center, yeah.
Hi. I wanted to understand what is the psychic behind this deceleration which you mentioned about? I mean,
Diesel.
So I just wanted to understand that what is that exactly? Are we trying to do that? And how are we getting the consumer to come in?
So, of course, and especially, I mean, I walked yesterday around in the streets, so especially in the evening in Mumbai, everybody is in a hurry. You have to, there's nobody being slow. This is not the best mood for buying something. You just would buy what you directly need. So if you're in a hurry, the sales per square meter for the retailer would be rather low. So what should you do? You should try to bring the people down, meaning give them something to eat or to drink, give them some refreshment, some towels to just clean the face, and don't start talking about the sales itself. Just take note of the person itself. This will bring the blood pressure down, this will bring everything. Heartbeat is then lower, and if people are in that mood, they will buy more. That's quite easy. You can say psychology, but it helps. I mean, if you visit somebody at home, the person also would take care of you and would say, let's talk about something. which is unusual. Let's do some small talk, which all of us brings us down. So this is something what retailers should do. That means there should be a sort of person who welcomes you. There should be somebody, especially in the fashion retail, there should be somebody who says hello to you. Says, what do you want? What do you need? Or can I help you? So doing this, of course, this is personal cost, I know. But this is more turnover and more contribution margin. And therefore, we really, at least we tell many of our customers that they should do that step because it's a very good investment.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, with us right now, Mr. Silvio Kirchmair. Thank you. We appreciate you.